What's up, everybody? It's your boy AJTRIP. Welcome to the World According to Me. This is the 2020 year in review. We'll look at some of the big stories of this year. And at the end, I'll take a personal look back on my personal 2020. And then, of course, at the end, we'll honor those we lost this year. And we lost very many. We'll honor them in our memorial segment. First, let's go ahead and let's start off with the very first thing that Ray told us that 2020 was going to be a bitch. And that was the loss of Kobe Bryant. It's and sure, a lot of people think, wow, I can't believe it. Losing Kobe Bryant was this year, but yes, it was this year. Unbelievable, right? I remember it so vividly because it was the Sunday of the Royal Rumble, and I remember looking on Twitter, and one of the people that I was following was about to remind me I need to look to see if she's anywhere else. But I remember looking and looking at her Twitter, and she was like, this can't be right, this can't be. And he had up there TMZ, Kobe Bryant dead, and I remember tweeting back at her, no, that's their there's something their website has been hacked or something, right? Because that's just you can't you just that's something that you just couldn't think of. But then as time rolled on, yes, you found out that yes, Kobe Bryant was dead, and so was his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, and seven other people who they were going to a Gianna's practice or game or something, and oh my goodness, just the tragedy of it all, and it's just couldn't believe it. No, oh man, you just couldn't believe it. Not Kobe, 41. He had more to give to this world, man. When he had won five NBA championships, here he is after he retired. He would won an Oscar, and he was obviously going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. This thing, yeah, and just for him to be gone, man, it it uh it did not only shake the city of Los Angeles, it shook the world, man. It shook the world, and you can really tell how much he was loved all over the world, and how much his play was was shown that he was loved by everybody. I mean, there were many people across. There were things all across this world. The soccer people were doing the jerseys and everything and tributes, and just one of those things where you just someone said it a couple of days ago when Brody Lee from AEW passed away. The good die young. Uh, Definitely for Kobe. The good died young. And to probably the biggest story of 2020, COVID-19. So there was already these rumors about this virus happening when the Super Bowl hits, and it's in China, and it's in China, but it's not going to spread to North America. It's not going to spread to America. But all of a sudden we get some things. It's here. It's in Seattle, and it spreads all over through the country, and it's all across the world, and it's still going on today. We have a couple vaccines out, and we are trying to combat this, but we live in a world where if you think one thing, you gotta have a group of people who think the other people. So you got people who are smart and telling you that let's do this, let's get the virus happy, and let's do this, let's get the virus away. And then you get people who are saying, well, actually, no, this is it. This isn't, the virus is a hoax. This isn't about the virus. I'm not going to wear a mask. The freedom of liberties, yada, yada, yada. Do what we got to do to get back to normal. You want a normal life? Then, yes, then just do what you got to do for maybe 3 or 4 months. And we can get this thing in there. Take the vaccine so that we can get rid of all of these things. So we can get rid of COVID-19. So you go back to living your life normally. And you got to deal with people, trying to tell you where to go and what to do and things like that. Government officials. You can do it on your own. Live your life like you want to. This was 3 or 4 months. 3 or 4 months out of your life. But no, that can't be. Can it? It's got to be a political thing. And it's fucking stupid. We had 2 great sports documentaries on 2 GOATs in their own profession. The Last Dance, talking about Michael Jordan and the 1998 Chicago Bulls, although, the documentary was supposed to be about those 1997, 98 Chicago Bulls. It really was about Michael Jordan's entire legacy and his entire time in Chicago, proving to anybody with half a brain that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, greatest of all time. Even in fact, today, the recording, December 30th, LeBron James' birthday. There's still more rounds on Twitter saying "Happy Birthday, GOAT" to LeBron James, and it's so sickening. It is so sickening. It is ridiculous. The idiots out there who just don't get it. Anyway, but honestly, those idiots don't get it. They didn't see The Last Dance, or they're just it's like the idiots with the mask. They don't want to wear a mask. So yeah. But anyway, they did a great job with the documentary. It was supposed to be actually happen during June, and during the NBA Finals. But when COVID-19 hit and everything stopped, and we had no sports, no nothing, no television, no TV shows, no nothing, and we needed something to help us out. The good folks, good producers of the documentary, and those at ESPN made a great sacrifice by putting the documentary on television for us. I think it began in April and went into June. It gave us 2 episodes a week. The 2 episodes a week is awesome. They let you know all about everything that was going on with Michael and all that good stuff. And it was such a great show. Sorry about that. I've been tired my whole life. Seems like, but it was so epic. Just one of the greatest documentaries of all time. One of the greatest episodes of television of all time, and it was just fantastic. The stories and the things, the stories about Michael, and in the hotel rooms with the in a rookie and traveling cocaine circus and him saying Horace Grant was a snitch and him saying Scotty saying he wasn't gonna fuck his own up because of Jerry Reinsdorf and everything like that. And oh my goodness, it was just so great, so good. And they weren't afraid to go there. They weren't afraid to go there with any of the things up there with Michael and all of them. So it was such a great great show to see. Um, and then the next documentary was The Last Ride with The Undertaker in WWE, and that one was something special as well. Going all the way back to WrestleMania 33 and him and Roman and having that to be the last one, but him knowing that he wasn't in the right frame of body and everything like that, and things how it just went down. It just I think it was going to happen, and then finally, he thought he kept thinking that he was going to get that special one, but every time he get a really good match, they sent him back out there for another match, and then something would go wrong with that match, whether it was the Goldberg incident in Saudi Arabia, whether it was the tag match in also in Saudi Arabia. Was it Saudi Arabia or was that in Australia? No, I think that was Saudi Arabia as well, and everything went wrong with the with Triple H turning his pec and Kane losing his mask. Oh, it's a clusterfuck of errors. Um, Everything going so wrong, and then him finally getting a really good match at Extreme Rules out of uh, out of with him and Roman against Drew and Shane, and him thinking maybe that was finally it, but then he gets the call from AJ, and he wants to work at AJ, and he thinking that was going to be it, and then again we're talking about COVID. COVID hits. You're gonna go through everything else, and COVID hits, and we have people um, just the it's incredible, and he finally gets his match with the Boneyard match, and hopefully he seems satisfied. I hope he is satisfied. I watched the Steve Austin Broken Skull sessions one more round with the Undertaker, and listen, you can tell both. You can tell that he doesn't want to stop. You can tell that he has that fire to go out and to continue on. But he also tells that he just he physically doesn't get. He physically cannot hang. He cannot have that 5-star match that he had with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. He can't do it. He can't do that. He can't have that 4-star match he had with CM Punk at WrestleMania 29. You can't have that. You know, it really is. When I say this, I think what should have it should have been with Roman without question. It should have been Roman 33. That should have been the final one. And I really wish that Undertaker would have said no. I really wish he just would have said no. I wish he would have said no to Vince. He just can't say no to Vince for some reason. I really wish he would have said no. Got his surgery, his hip surgery, did all this work. He could have then WrestleMania 34. They could have had the thing. He could have had the match he had with Cena that he did, felt good about it, and then he could have came back maybe in the WrestleMania 35. Roman was gone, but then maybe at WrestleMania 35 it could have been him and Roman versus Drew and Shane there. Although Shane was doing with Vince, it was doing with the Miz and something like that. But whatever. But it could have happened, at a better time. But I guess, but I think he's right on the thing that Roman should have they shouldn't have broken the streak with Brock. It should have been broken with Roman. But that's without question. There was only 3 people to break. If someone was going to break the streak, it would have been one of 3 people. It would have been Randy Orton back in the day. back in the day when the streak was just first gaining steam, Randy Orton, and apparently he was offered it. Randy Orton turned it down, right? And then there was obviously Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels could have broken the streak and then come back and then they could have done the thing where they come back later for revenge and then retirement. I want to retire you. If you lose, you retire. You could have did that. They didn't do that. And then the next one was Roman Reigns, and that was the one that really needed to get it, and it didn't happen. So, but The Last Ride, great documentary on The Undertaker, and then The Last Dance, of course, on the real and only GOAT of basketball. Basketball, getting choked up there. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Now I don't know. I'm not ranking these. I'm trying to go in some sort of chronological order. Um, Basically, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I don't think with the topics that I wanted to cover on this, but because this next topic, as you can see, this started back in 2014, with the whole Eric Garner killing and the Brown killing in Ferguson, and then Tamir Rice in Cleveland, which by the way today they've said that there would be no charges against the cops in the Tamir Rice shooting, and all of that, and then the other things that happened, and Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, and all those other things going into what happened this year, and seemingly the killings of Ahmaud Arbery, and what it really was, it was George Floyd, and the video of seeing the cop on that guy's neck for 40 some odd seconds, and it snaps into something, and it's in the midst of a pandemic. It's we had protests, and in some places, in some cities, we had protests for many of days, and it was just all ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we're in we're in a pandemic and we're doing protests with masks on, not social distancing. Although let's be fair. I don't think there was too many. I don't think there was too many outbreaks from these protests. I don't think there was. So maybe it's not ridiculous just to be at the protest with masks on. But maybe that did work. But everything that happened, and then just the stuff, the conversations that people hopefully did have, need to have, they come from the civil unrest, the killings of all of these people. It's it's unreal, and for the most part, they line down the middle again politically, just like everything does. People on the left are outraged and flabbergasted and things like that, and people on the right are, you know, they are, you know, they're trying to find ways to make it so that the left is using race as a as a something to get you all riled up. They even conspiracy theorize that they're doing this in a election year, because they did this in 2016 with Colin Kaepernick and his kneeling, and now they're doing it now this year in 2020 with an election happening. And listen, and both sides have excellent points to this. There are things that need to be done in the system. Some things need to change. Some things need to be solved differently. We do different things about it. But then we also need to stop this. Not every cop is a racist. Not all cops are bad. There's no need. We don't need to defund the police. We don't need to abolish the police. We don't need to do all these things that these crackpots out there thinking that we need to do. We don't need to be. We don't need to be screaming Black Lives Matter. We don't need to be, doing all of these other, bigger things. We don't even need to be protesting. The protesting doesn't work as well. Definitely don't need to be rioting. And the shit that we saw from these people rioting, it's garbage, and it's sickening. You know, New York and downtown New York, downtown Chicago, boarded up because you know you thought rioting was the right idea, and you think that's an okay form. You think it's good to riot. Fuck you. No, it's not. No, it's not. And it was sickening to see and sickening to watch. And yeah, it was just it's awful, and it's not going away because I think now there is a underground movement, for there to be some black supremacy starting to happen, and everywhere I turn, I see it. Everywhere I turn, I see it. I watching a TikTok video a week or so ago, and I think it was the rapper David Banner. He was on the show of Charlamagne the God, and he was talking about that black people aren't racist enough. No, fuck you with that. No, black people aren't racist enough, and that black people, all this garbage. It's gone too far. It's one thing to see that maybe black people have had a harder time, with certain things in this world than white people. Maybe that's something of their knowledge. It's something just to go way too far. Where like the damn dude from Family Guy is not going to do the Cleveland Brown voice. Maybe the voice of Cleveland Brown because he's not black. Or Jenny Slate's not gonna do anything because she's not black. She's not some of it's stupid. All of that is stupid. That's not gonna help anybody. That's not going to help. The people who get justice for George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or anybody else that you think needs justice. That shit ain't gonna work. And it's ridiculous, and it's something that we really didn't need to see in this year 2020. Just another horrible thing that happened that just made 2020 the worst thing in the year, absolute worst of the year. Next, we lost another fantastic person. Chadwick Boseman played many great people in the movies. Jackie Robinson and James Brown, I believe. But he was probably most famously known for becoming the Black Panther in all of the Marvel movies, and taking that to a great, fantastic level. Did you freeze? I never freeze. So and he didn't let the world know that what he was battling with. He was battling with pancreatic cancer, and there were and I guess like his family, all his family knew. Even some of his coworkers knew. They all kept it quiet. He did 3 or 4 or 5 movies while battling this deadly disease of cancer, and just was epic. And some of the stories that come out afterwards is crazy. Sienna Miller came out and said that on the movie, I forget what movie it was, but he was always getting paid more than she was, and he went back in and asked for her to get paid as much as he is, and Because since they were the co-stars of the movie, and oh, such a great dude, really really good dude, and then another guy, another really good dude just lost way too early, and the world was, he became a cultural icon by becoming Black Panther, you know, because again, I said this when when he died, doing a video about it. You know, even though we've always had Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and and Captain America and Iron Man and a lot of these great ones, portrayed not only in the cartoons and the comic books but on the big screen. You know, he was like he was still like the first superhero that was, Black America could really seek their into as a combined unit. Sure, for me, I've always been a Batman dude, and I'm sure there's been a lot of black, people who have enjoyed all of the other superheroes. But you can't deny, as if you can't deny that the feeling that some black people may feel that Black Panther was for them, and maybe only for them. And we can get into whether or not they should feel like that or not. It's a whole another total situation, but you can't deny how that feels. So when you feel that way about somebody, and then the person that's doing that character, who's made this character a success, it's gone so quickly. It hurts, and it kind of drives you wild. Chadwick Boseman was another one of many this year that we lost. The presidential race. We can get into that a little bit here. Donald Trump running for his second term, and a bunch of Democrats fighting for democracy, as it seems, and came down to good old Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. And Joe Biden became the great nominee. And as I go back and I think about this year, and I think about the stuff between Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, I cannot believe that we really had people on the left saying how horrible of a president, how horrible of a human being, the disgrace that President Trump had brought to this country. Saying that in one breath, and in the next breath saying, well, if it's not Bernie Sanders, I'm not voting. The silliness and stupidity of it all, foolishness and fuckery abounds. And, if you were someone who was, wanted to get away from the Trump administration, you wanted to get away from that. You wanted to go away and bring in a new presidency, like I did. You found that it's absolutely insane that you would say that. And one has to wonder if the stuff that didn't happen this year in the civil unrest with everything that went down, because I think that brought the left together, and I think that showed what what needed to happen. That two things happened. I think one, that did. I think that as Donald Trump was doing things like saying, once we start tweeting, once we start looting, they start shooting, and he says that, and then he also comes out and he does this stupid thing where he has the thing cleared out of the way so he can walk over to the thing for a photo op, taking a picture in front of something with a Bible, in front of a church with a Bible, and it's just each and every other thing that happened with that, and then of course the hundreds of thousands of Americans killed in COVID-19. I think that just really just and don't get me wrong, even with all of that, there was still just people who were undecided, about voting for him or voting not for him, and some people and listen, we still and it still didn't matter, right? It still didn't matter because over 70 million people voted for him. Over 70 million people voted for him, and that's not here nor there. And it doesn't mean that they're racist. It doesn't mean that they don't care about the people who died from COVID. It doesn't mean anything. It means that if anything, I think if anything negative, I guess, and who knows if this is a negative, it doesn't mean that they're selfish. They care about their own interests. They care about their guns. They care about their religion. They care about their money. And and they know that Trump's not going to take any of those away. They know that the Democrats, the liberals, are going to try to take away their guns in some form or fashion, make it harder for you to at least get the gun. Maybe not necessarily take it away. They're going to try to save. They can't take away your religion because you have freedom to it, but they're going to try to, you know, do things where, you know, abortion is legal and you feel that it isn't, and you feel that's going against God, and any other things. I think I'm not. I think the gay marriage thing is now pretty much a non-issue when it comes to that. I think everybody's pretty much for gay marriage. Doesn't think gay marriage is a sin, although there's still some true hardcore religious people out there who think that way. And of course the taxes. Democrats are going to raise taxes, especially on those who are. In Joe Biden's plan, he used to say those who make over $400,000, I think, a year are going to have to pay a shit ton of taxes, and as they should. So it's and that's just the way it's going to be. But and so all that being said, it was crazy that there still was people like not you know speaking out of both sides of their mouth, and even during the election when some of the results were coming in, and Florida was coming in droves for Trump, and some other places that were coming in droves from Trump, you still had idiots out there. You should be Bernie. No, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have. He wouldn't have won. He wouldn't have won because a lot of the Republicans that voted for Joe Biden are moderate. They're moderate. You know, they're moderate. They are the one, and they would be the ones that probably vote Democrat a lot. You know, with some things, but they're Republicans because of maybe that one issue, that one issue with taxes, or that maybe that one issue on guns or something like that. Something I don't know. There's something they feel makes them more Republican than Democrat, but they're more willing to vote for Democrat when the Republican is a nitwit like the one we have in president right now. Um, and so, but they're not going to vote for somebody like Bernie Sanders, who is way off the deep end on the left, way to the left, and is you know, and is going to you know some people feel like bringing socialism to the United States, and that just wasn't going to happen. Joe Biden was the right he was the right guy and for the right job, and I think the Americans that did vote for him, I think over 80 million voted for him, right? I think about it, in the tally, over 80 million voted for him, um, or close to 80 million, one or the other. I think it was proven that what America wanted right now, and you know, so and we got a vice president. We got a vice president who was the first black and first Indian descent first woman as well. So some history being made this year in the presidency. So all in all, in my opinion, turned out very well. And now for me, a personal look back. Last year around this time, I moved down to North Carolina to hear from my mother, and some things in that personal life happened that it was god awful. And so I was hoping 2020 would be a new year. I was going to start a class for we're going to start a class for information technology. Do like some IT stuff, work on computers, things of that nature. Because even though my heart wants to continue to do this, wants to be the content creator, to be the YouTuber, to be the podcaster, to be the gamer, that I want to be, right? To do all of that. Um, I understand that until I can get all of those off the ground, right? Until I can get to the point to where I am doing that, I need to do something else for funds, for money, and things like that. And now along the fact that I so bad want to get back to Chicago, because that's what I'll be. This other than my mother and my two cousins who are down here, you know, this is a god awful place. It just is. It's just a god awful place. I mean, you can't get a sausage pizza really. You can't go to Walmart or you can't go to the store and get a sausage fucking pizza. It has to be sausage and pepperoni, or just pepperoni, or some sort of sausage deluxe. Where the fuck is this the sausage pepperoni? You can't even get that down here. And it's so spread out. You need a car. You can't, you can't take a bus somewhere. The train. It's not a metropolis. And maybe I would fare better, if that's where I was living. I was living in a metropolis. Maybe if this wasn't Charlotte, North Carolina, if this was like, you know, Minneapolis, Minnesota, yeah, I probably would be a lot better there, because I'd be a lot closer to Chicago for one, and two, I'd be in a city like Chicago, or like I said, metropolis, and be in a cold city, that's with snow. It's been cold down here a little bit this year, but for the most part, it doesn't snow. There's hardly any precipitation, only in the mountains. Yeah, that city just sucks. And so he was hoping that 2020 would be time this year. So I went there and I did all of the stuff for IT, and I went to the class. But the certifications got me. I just couldn't pass certifications for some reason. And yeah, so that sucks. And then off of 2019, because I wasn't working in Chicago, something like that, I wasn't doing very much eating and things like that. So, and actually at one point I got down to about 230 pounds. Yeah, I was down to 230 pounds, and very, very quickly I gained that weight back here. And I think it was April I checked, and I was back up to 300, and I was kind of sickened with myself. To come down here in November at about 235, 240, and to basically 6 months later gain all that weight back. That didn't feel good, and it's brought back some health problems with sleep apnea and maybe some other things with me breathing correctly, and it's just all of it was just, yeah. 2020 does not. It's for a personal situation. It just hasn't been very profitable in any form of fashion. Monetarily wise, anything. It's just no outlook for anything. You know, it's just things like feel like there's like no light at the end of the tunnel. You know, one of the reasons why I was so not wanting to come down here was because I knew that once I got down here, things, you know, the way my life was going up there, that I was never going to, you know, they get down here, they weren't going to change, and you know, I'd be stuck down here. At least if I was up there, I'd be in Chicago. But you know, here I am. My prophecy's coming true. It's nothing's going to happen for me down here, and I'm going to be stuck down here in Chicago, this hellhole of a city, with no prospects of nothing personally, professionally, anything happening to me in a good way, and it sucks. It sucks. It really does. Am I gonna give up? No. I'm gonna continue to do these videos. I'm gonna continue to do my podcast. I'm gonna continue to play video games on Twitch, restream it to YouTube and all the other things in hopes that something happens and I catch on with something, and I'll be able to start making money, taking care of myself, doing all the things that I would like to do. Instead of having to hope for a stimulus check from the government, I'll be able to have that money come in to myself, and nevertheless also paying back some of these other bills that I left in Chicago, from the rent and the ComEd and the cable bill and things like that. So, which, by the way, maybe another thing. I don't know. Maybe all right, why not? After I get it, I'll just see it right here, right now. Talking about cable. I'm also starting to think that maybe the right thing to do is for me is to cut the cord. You know, once I get my own shit, yeah, let's cut the cord. You either get like I love Fubo TV, love that. Your Fubo TV or if it's YouTube TV or wherever it may be, use one of those apps, things like that. I'd have to get some smart TVs, or I'd have to get some other things to go along with it to put on the other TVs or something like that. But like maybe like some Fire sticks or Roku sticks or whatever the hell they need. But yeah, I think that's something to do in the future. But that was just my little break. Personally, yeah, my personal look back on 2020, just another suck ass year for your boy. All right, y'all, that's going to end my 2020 year in review. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys thought about any of the topics I covered. Any other topics that I didn't cover that you would like to talk about. Your personal outlooks on 2020, and maybe even what you plan on wanting in 2021. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Here's to 2021 being a much better year for all of us. And with that said, we now honor those that we lost. From Kobe Bryant and the other people that died in that plane crash, to Alex Trebek, to Regis Philbin, to Chadwick Boseman, and many others. And most importantly, the many Americans and many humans we lost to this insufferable disease of COVID-19. May all of them rest in power.